I actually, so I had a friend who told me that I needed to have a theme tune for Lonely Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how it would go, but I do have these like maracas things.
Let's go.
So I don't know if we would like, think of one now or like.
So bad.
Oh, I quite like this. It's like reggaeton. Lonely.
Heroes.
Oh yeah, I love that. Lonely.
Heroes.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. I think that would
think that
work.
would.
Yeah, I think that, right. Great.
You should make everyone do this.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening. I'm Sam Ellie, and this is Lonely Heroes. On today's episode, I have another very special guest with me, all the way from California. Vedangi, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Very, very good. It's nice and sunny today for a change.
Finally, love that.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about why you sort of chose to come here, where you're living at the moment?
Sure. So, as you said, my name is Vedangi. I am originally from India and I moved to the US in 2018 for my master's, and I studied there for 2 years in Maryland, and then I worked with my company that I'm currently in for another 3 years. And I lived in California for 2 years and then moved to New York for my final 5 months in the US. So I had to move out of the US because I did not get my work visa because it's a lottery system. So no luck.
What do you mean it's a lottery system? So in the US it works in a sort of, if you get it, you get it. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from.
Yeah, your name is put in a lottery through your company sponsors it, and your name gets picked. You have 3 chances. So the 3 years that I was there after my college are the 3 chances that you get every year for your name to get picked. And in case your name does not get picked, you kindly have to exit.
Oh my god.
So, I mean, there are other loopholes that you can do to stay in the, you can stay in the country basically, but I chose not to do that because you have to study again, switch to a student visa again, and then it's nah. So
Would rather not.
Yeah, no, not studying again. So yeah, my company was nice enough to keep me and transfer me to London, and so I am here.
How long have you been here now?
I would say 6 months. I came here back in September 2023.
Wow, so you're quite new.
Very new. I'm a London
wow.
baby.
So whereabouts are you now? What was it sort of like, the transition between California and this part of the world that tends to be not very sunshine-like?
So right now I am living in central London in St. John's Wood. So very nice place.
Did they tell you it was central London?
Yes.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I mean, I live with 2 other people who I met on Spare Room. I lucked out. I was like, thank God, these are nice people. So yeah, obviously the weather was a big change for me. I have never lived in an area where it's cloudy 24/7. I wouldn't say 365, but you need to get some days. But yeah, that was a biggest shock, I would say. And I had an adventure coming to London. The day I landed, I had to run around for flat viewings because I was doing that from India and I had absolutely no idea about like where to go, what to do, because everyone was telling me different things. There were zones and I was very confused because I did not know the lay of the land.
Oh, when you say zones, you mean like
which zone do I live in? And then they're like, look at areas that are close to work, and then people were like, oh, these are areas that are like that have heavy Asian population, and I was like, I want to live away from that. Because for me personally, there's a reason. If I'm staying out of India per se, I would love to like blend into other cultures and get to know other cultures. So I was like, okay, I want to stay in an area where there are multiple other people living like of different cultures, so that you can be friends, like have a good experience, because I know what my culture is like. So I looked at every area possible. Also, the names of certain areas are pretty funny, and I was pronouncing them wrong.
Oh, what kind of things were you saying?
So for example, Chiswick, I was calling it Chiswick, and I was like, so the pronunciations are what sometimes they scare me, because like, am I saying it right? Some nice learnings there.
Oh yeah, in the UK we tend to, if it looks like it will be pronounced one way, it probably isn't.
I learned my pronunciations in the train when the announcement is made. I was like, oh, that's how it's called.
Shout out to the announcer.
Yes,
Absolutely. So you said you moved from, was it India, California, then to the UK?
Yes, that's right.
That's quite a bit of a zigzag, isn't it?
Big zigzag.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to live in London since like when I was a child. I don't know why, but I guess it's because of all the movies I used to watch. Notting Hill. I love London. Oh, my phone got stolen when I came here. Classic.
Oh God,
I've had
been
classic London experiences. Witnessed a stabbing at New Year's Eve, basically.
God.
At Primrose Hill. But I didn't witness it, but I was there when
Right.
it happened. And then none of us knew it was happening right behind us. We were going back home. We saw like a body bag, this tent, and it was a 16-year-old that died.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
I heard
really
about
sad.
that. And
I
you were
was
there.
I was there. I have had quite the experience.
How does that compare to your experiences in California?
It was pretty smooth back in the US, I would say. You get to experience and you get to learn. So moving to London, it's been a lot of life lessons, I would say.
Being here for 6 months, it's not that long. I've said this in these conversations before. I've been living abroad for maybe 8 months maximum.
Yeah.
There are days you're like, should I move back to what I was used to? Does that ever come to mind for you?
A lot. So when I moved to London, maybe because I was traveling like one of the Victoria Northern, one of them.
One of them.
I got really sick my first week here. And at that time I was like, oh my God, I just want to go back home. Because I was all alone here. But luckily I had a school friend. That's another thing a positive experience for me is there are two of my school friends back from India here who I was not in touch with for the past 10 years. And I came here and like we rekindled our friendship. And it's like things never change. So I'm really happy that I got to like meet them. One of my friends was like nice enough to kind of let me stay at her place for 2 weeks. And she basically nursed me back to health.
Wow, because I was going to ask, the way the NHS works, I was wondering if you've just come to the UK, how does that work? Like, do you have to sort of register for a doctor? Yeah. Is it very slow?
Very slow. So yeah, I think you have to sign up for your the GP in your area. Yeah. That was not going to be my area for a long while. So I needed immediate care, and the only option was like A&E.
Or a friend, apparently.
Yes, that's much better than an A&E. So yeah, she was really, really nice, and I was so happy. I was like, oh, at least a known face, in this, because it can get really lonely when you just come and then you're like sick immediately. It's like, it's a punch to your self-confidence, I would say. So,
yeah.
And there's so many other things that are not in place at that time, because like I didn't have a house. I was like, oh my God, I need to look for a house before I start working and before this temporary accommodation expires. So I was like, oh, I was tensed. I embraced it because it was something new, and I kind of learned how to be stronger mentally, I would say.
That's really, really good. That's a really positive sort of spin on the kind of coming to a new place and not really knowing where to start and who to turn to, but then having two people that you know here must have really sort of turned that negative experience around as well.
Yeah.
So obviously there's no language barrier with you and coming here. There might have been a language barrier. You might have sort of heard British words and gone, I don't know what that means. Has that happened to you? Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not a lot, I would say. But yes, there's definitely some British lingo that I was like, I have no idea what that means. Also, sometimes it's kind of hard to pick up on the heavy accents. You travel 40 minutes and the accents change.
Oh yeah.
So I can understand, like, I don't know, whoever is like a Londoner, like the London accent is easy to understand, but some people when they talk, I was like, this is too fast. Like, I don't know what you're saying. So I would just be like, yeah.
Have you experienced any culture shocks?
I used to ask every landlord or agency if they had like central air conditioning systems and heaters, and I was always laughed at. I was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that. I didn't know like most of the houses are like meant to keep heat inside, and they're like old. That was like another major difference that I saw when I came here.
Do you have any tips for people who are kind of wondering whether they should come to London? Like your experience so far, the 6 months of being here, if someone's thinking about it, what should they do?
It's an experience. I would definitely encourage people to come here. I love the diversity in the city because there's so many people from different backgrounds, so many languages. I love it, and I love the pub culture too, so absolutely love it. they give more importance to like social life, which I haven't seen in the US as much as it is here. You know, you go out for drinks after work and stuff like that.
That pub life.
Yes. I would say depending on your wants and what you want to experience, I would definitely encourage people to come here, but obviously you need to do your homework about the place, about adult things like, I don't know, money and apartments and stuff like that. I feel you can make friends, but you have to put yourself out there. So if you're ready to basically be uncomfortable, I would definitely ask people like, okay, go for it. You know, it's a good experience.
It's a growth experience.
Definitely.
I think you have to be relatively, or at least mildly uncomfortable to gain any sort of experience. I'm quite curious to know, I imagine you've explored parts of London. Is there something that sort of stands out to you, of something that you really liked?
I really love how many parks you have even within the city, because New York has like Central Park, but I love like London has like these tiny little escape areas that you can just like, okay, no buildings, just trees. I like Hackney too. It has a lot of restaurants and like younger people there on the other side. I feel like West is or Northwest is very residential and like family oriented areas. I would love to hang out more on the East, but it's so far away. I was like, oh yeah.
There are some places that are hard to get to via public transport, but not everybody has a car or wants to spend money on an Uber. So there's always that. On the off chance you might feel like going for a really, really long walk, maybe you get there in like 2 hours, but other than that, I guess
I'm good. My area is actually also pretty nice to just roam around.
Is that St. John's Wood?
St. John's Wood,
right.
Yeah. I'm still yet to basically go out more and look at like different areas.
The Lord's Cricket Ground is right by there, but have you been to see a game? Don't know whether there's even is there a season that happens?
That was my question. I always question it whenever I cross Lords. I was like, I have never seen a cricket game happen here.
Okay.
When does it happen? Like, I have no idea.
I didn't even know that, like I'd heard of Lord's Cricket Ground, but I didn't realise how close it was to St. John's Wood. And that's, I think, the only thing that stands out to me when I think of St. John's Wood.
Yes.
Have you sort of seen the local restaurants around you?
I haven't. It's sad that I haven't really gone around my areas yet. But then it's been such a ride that I was like, okay, let's settle down nice, and then let's go afterwards, you know, to just basically scan the area and stuff like that. All I do is go to work, come back, and then I'm just so tired because you have to cook for yourself, and then you have to basically do all the adult things to survive.
Yes.
Cook, clean, laundry.
Classic adulting. I don't think I've got there yet, but there we are.
People around you are like, okay, so what, it's raining. For me, I used to be like, oh no, it's raining, I can't go out.
Just wait till it snows. Things shut down completely when it
that.
snows. It's like overground, absolutely not. I remember it took me about 3 hours to get home once.
I quickly learned that I can't use rain as an excuse not to go out, because they're like, that this is every day, so you just have to like...
Is that something that you could do in California? Like, oh, it's raining today.
It did not rain as much as it does here. So yes, that's what I did when it was raining in California. So I was like, it's a nice day to be in your little blanket and watch something or read something. And then I was like, I can't do that every day over here.
No, you can embrace the blanket day when you want, but if you did it every time it rained, I feel like you'd be only under the blanket, and that you wouldn't really get much else done. But that's up to you. You can do what you like. This is London.
I'm basically learning to be okay with the rain.
It's actually been pretty terrible. But yeah, it's been really, really great to sit down and hear someone who's come to London and has been here for not even a year yet, for only a few months, and to sort of hear how candid you are about like that it's not always sunshine and daisies. It can be sort of a bit of an up and a down, and there'll be rain, but there will be sun soon.
Yes.
Quite literally.
Love that. I see signs of life outside.
Well, I guess welcome to London.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully you'll be here in another 6 months. Are you planning to stay here for long?
If you ask me where will you be in 5 years, I don't know.
No.
But yes, I will be in the UK, definitely.
Absolutely not. This has been Sam Ellie and Vedangi. Really, really good to speak to you today. And for the rest of you, have a very, very good rest of your day.
Thank you so much for having me.